Took a breather and came back in no time. Put the ball in my possession and it's showtime. I'm taking the last shot, coach, don't mind. I'm a different predicament, so it troubles you. Game clock ticking and I'm coming for the W. One man ain't enough, they gon' have to double two. Get ball shot made, all the fans loving you. Time expired, everybody rushing you. Now you done showed them what you about. Try to tell you we was gon' make it without a doubt. Do what they can, I'm already stamping. I be shitting like Kevin Durant in the game. Ate up. When I steps on the floor, I don't waste time. 2 seconds, one shot, I'ma make mine. Hit a 3-pointer on baseline. They want my spot, I'm trying to save mine. So you should move over. 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 So you should move over.
What's good, everybody? You now listening to Hoop Narrative Podcast. I got my bro once again in the building, Fred Dro, and we got our brother in the building.
Yeah, man, we got Cartiea, a.k.a. French, a.k.a. French-Toney, but we all know him now as Hotbread. My brother, welcome.
Some of y'all who might follow him on Twitter might know him as Mr. Yeah, I know before all this, so... He got a lot of narratives to his name, but this is Hoop Narrative, so that's what we're going to keep it at today, man. How you doing, bro?
I'm good. I'm excited to be on today.
Yeah, man. You've been on pretty much, for anybody who doesn't know before we get into it, Cartiea has stepped into the basketball training world, and you've been on a journey, over these last 4 or 5 months in a pandemic. Just tell us, what you've been on, and how you been. Like I said, this is my first time, bro, seeing you in a minute. So yeah, man, what's been up?
Once CJ declared for the NBA draft, we headed to Las Vegas, Nevada, so he could do pre-draft training at Impact Basketball Facility with Joe Abunassar, who's a well-renowned trainer and has a lot of NBA connections and a lot of NBA ties. So I hopped in my car and I drove 17 hours to Las Vegas, and CJ flew, but I met him there so that we would have transportation. And for 3 months, we got after it. We got after it every day. The goal for us there was always to be the first person in the gym and, be the last person in the gym. So, we showed up early every day at 8 a.m. to get our work in. And then we were one of the last people there because the gym would close about 4:30. We'd be the last ones on the court. So that was just big for us, as being the first one in the gym and the last one there, just shows your work ethic and shows how hard and how much you want to be a part of the NBA. You got to work for it. You got to grind for it. And we really wanted to just let our name speak and just let our work speak for itself.
That's exactly what you did. I mean, we've known you pretty much since, sandbox days, bro.
Rotary days.
Yeah, Rotary.
As kids.
And, just to see your growth and, seeing from where you started from, just even what you said first, about, how you drove, he flew, and that your dedication to these kids. I've been seeing you plenty of times, whatever you had to do for kids when you were younger, if it comes to picking them up, dropping them off, getting up at 5 a.m., and whatever it is. And like I said, it's all been genuine from you. And, just see, your growth from that. What did you first think when you got into, this training world?
I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think about making money. I didn't think you can make a lot of money doing this. I just was doing it for the genuine, for the love. I knew, college was coming to an end. What's next? And I figured I could do basketball training. That's what I'm passionate about. I can study the game. I can learn the game. I can help kids get better. I can play an integral part in their development. I'm all in. This is what I want to do. Obviously, it hasn't been all peaches and cream, and it hasn't been always good, and, haven't been making a lot of money, but I was happy, and it made me happy, so I just continued to do it.
French. One thing I want you to talk about is, one of our other brothers, Clint Parks, and talk about how essential he's been to the beginning stages and any, messages that he told you early on that stuck with you now, while you're going through this process with all your guys?
Clint's been integral in the development. Honestly, I wouldn't even be doing player development if it wasn't for Clint. I met Clint in what was that, 2011?
Yeah.
We was at, or 2010, 11, sometime.
Oh, this is my favorite
His
game.
freshman year at Seattle U.
Yep.
Rhonda had flew him down to work us out for a week.
He stayed at 1434.
Yeah, he stayed at 1434. And we would work out every day. In the morning, we would work out for 4 hours. Like, I kid you not, for 4 hours, no water break, just grind. Go home, sleep, chill, come back at night for an hour and a half. We did this every day for a week. I promise you, I was tired as shit at the end of the week. I was hella tired. But I went back the following week. I went to open gym. The work translated. I was the best player in the gym, like, by far. And I had never worked this hard in my life. Like, I had worked hard. I had trained with other people and done stuff, but I hadn't been going like twice a day for that long and putting that much time and investing it into my craft. And once I got back to school, I could just see the gains in my game. So for me, that's always been an imprint on how I train. Like, I use his model and his formula, and I just took it and I've expanded and I've done it my own way and done some things differently than how he would do some things. And that's what makes him unique, is he does things a certain way. And that's what makes me unique, is I do things a different way. But his model of spending 4 hours in the gym, no water, grinding, coming back at night, grinding, that model, that led to Kawhi getting drafted, Tony Snell getting drafted. I'm like, okay, this dude's doing something right here. This formula works. I'm going to take this same formula and I'm going to cook out this same book. And now with that same book, we have had 3 pros in the last 2 years. Some people train for 30, 40 years and they never develop a pro. Yeah. And I've been fortunate and blessed, and I've been doing this since 2013. So this is 6-7 years now. That
about right.
3 pros in 7 years, like, that's unheard of. Like, I mean, I'm fortunate and I'm blessed that those families allowed me to work with their kids, and you know, those kids were good too, but, you know, I've aided in their development and I've helped them as basketball players and as people.
Yeah. And I'll speak for, you know, and I'm not knocking CJ Elleby, but he was a guy that when I looked at, and, you know, there was a lot of people that also said that they didn't see NBA, you know what I mean? But with the constant work that he put in and the work that you guys put in, you look up and he had those opportunities. That's one guy I want you to talk about briefly. Talk about CJ and his development, and you may have felt that he had those, he could reach that level, but with the work you guys put in, that made everybody else a believer.
I mean, he's always had a strong work ethic that, you know, he gets from his dad, Bill. Bill pushes basketball. Everybody knows Bill as the guru. He's self-proclaimed guru. But his dad and his family instilled a good work ethic in him. All the kids have a good work ethic. So for me, it was easy to help him because he already worked hard. That's half of the battle, is just getting these kids to understand how hard you have to work. So for him, he was a worker, but he didn't realize how hard you have to work and how much time you have to put into this and how much you have to really work on your game. So if you ask him, he'll tell you, he's like, I worked hard, but I didn't realize how hard I had to work until I met you. So he's took everything that we worked on, and even when he got to school at Wazoo, like, I wasn't there every day, but I would pull up sometimes and I was just making sure, like, are you in the gym? Are you working? Are you grinding? He's like, I'm there every day before practice. I'm like, all right, cool. And that's half the battle, because you got to get better outside of practices. You got to get better outside of your individual skill work that you do with the coaches. You got to go back on your own time, and you got to put time in on your own. And a lot of people don't do that when they get to school. They get comfortable. But for him, he was like, he wasn't, let's not say, he wasn't like, some people are hell-bent, like, I'm going to the league. Like, for him, he's like, I want to get better. Like, you know, we never talked NBA because that was never the goal. The goal was always just to continue to try to get better. And that's been the same goal since I met him going into at the end of his sophomore year of high school, which he had a successful sophomore year, because if you watch, he led that team to state. Mm-hmm. They lost, obviously, to Garfield, which is a team they lost to 4 times that year. But in districts, they played Garfield. He gave Garfield 30, and all them guys, everybody had been calling him Soft CJ, and he showed a level of toughness. So you could see that the potential was always there.
Is that
now,
where the tough CJ came from?
Yeah, that's where it came. Wani and all them guys was on LOB and stuff, calling him Soft CJ. So Bill would go back and tell him, like, you know, they're calling you Soft CJ. You got to be tough. And I vividly remember one play, like, he gets into it with Noel and he throws the elbow. I'm like, okay, like, he gets the message. Yeah. Like, he gets what's being portrayed to him. So for there, he was good, and now we just worked and we just worked and we just worked and we just continued to work. Has it always been peaches and cream? No, it hasn't always been perfect. There's been times where, I had to kick him out the gym. I feel like you're bullshitting one day, like you're wasting my time. Yeah. Go home. Yeah. We didn't talk for like a week. Then he texts me, is it good? Can we work out? Like, yeah, it's good. I'm waiting for you to say something to me. Yeah. But through it all, we've had ups, we've had downs. It hasn't always been pretty, but one thing that's remained consistent is that he trusts me and I trust him. I trust that when he's alone, he's going to do what he has to do. He's going to handle his business, and he knows when I'm with him, I'm going to push him and challenge him to get what he deserves and push him to the level where I think he can be.
At the end of the day, what happened is the man just got drafted in the second round to the Portland Trailblazers. So a shout out to CJ Elleby.
Good CJ.
Shout out to the commitment you had to him, and shout out to him for putting in the work as well. Now, on the other side, you was also, I could be wrong, but you may have already working with Jaden at the time. You started working with CJ?
Yeah, it's like around the same time.
Mm-hmm. So you start working with Jaden. Now, when you started working with Jaden, he started to open some eyes, maybe a little bit before that. And so now, I could be wrong. I feel like maybe out of all the players you worked with, this was somebody you're like, okay, we maybe can see NBA at a high school level. He has a real good chance of playing in the NBA. And then seeing he went from being a top 100 player to a top 50 player to a top 5 player. And this is all under working with you, Frenchie. So working with, CJ, and then now going to the other lane and working with somebody who is heavily recruited, nationally ranked. Was your mindset maybe a little different going from working with CJ and then working with Jaden?
Nah, my mindset was never different. Mm-hmm. The funny part is that I couldn't get Jaden to train. That's what everybody doesn't understand that part. Like, I was working with Jalen already, and I would see Jaden at tournaments when he was in 8th grade because he played for Rotary, and I would see him all the time. And I would always talk to him in passing. A lot of people didn't speak to him just because he's quiet, he's shy, he's reserved, he doesn't really open up to people. But he always talked to me, and he's always talked to me. And it's a weird dynamic, and I've always told Jalen that, like, bro, your brother doesn't talk to anybody, but he talks to me. Like, I don't know why he does, but he does. So, like, I seen him at the hoop, at Beaverton Hoop, and I'm like, bro, when you going to come work out? Like, come work out with your brother. He's just, like, looks at me and is like, nah, just shakes his head. I'm like, all right, cool, I ain't going to push the issue, So, obviously, end of season happens freshman year. He doesn't play a lot, whatever. So, it's spring break now. And Jalen's coming to work out every day. Obviously, he's getting ready for San Diego State now. He got to get ready for college. So I'm like, bring your brother, dog. He's like, all right. So now here's Jalen. Jalen's coming. So Jalen works out. First day, I'm like, this kid's good. Like, he's good. I'm like telling Jalen, like, bro, your brother's going to be better than you. It's like, no, he's not.
I remember hearing the whisper.
He's like, no, he's not. I'm like, bro, your brother's going to be better than you. Like, no, he's not. I'm like, all right, cool. So, now you see it. I'm not saying he's better. I'm not going to say who's better. That's up to them. They could play ones and they could figure that out. Yeah. They played ones actually during the pandemic when we was playing, and Jalen ended up winning.
Yeah,
so.
I would say Jalen is better right now. Like I said, I'm going to say Big Bro's still Big Bro right now.
Nah, he is. But to go back to you guys' point, did I see NBA with Jaden? No, not at all. We didn't see what he could become until his junior year of high school. And that's where I really think he made the leap, because you got to think his freshman year, he barely played. He averaged maybe 0.9 points. His sophomore year, he averaged 6 points a game. He played, but he didn't play a lot. If you went and you watched Fed, Coach Collins would take him out. He would shoot it. They would run like this little motion offense. He would reverse it. The top of the key, that would be Jaden. Jaden would shoot the 3 almost every time just because he wasn't getting no touches. Yeah. And Coach Collins would sit him. So as a sophomore, Jaden averaged 6 points a game. So it wasn't like you seen like this phenom prospect, But then coming to spring, he's playing for Northwest Panthers, and they got a good group with him and Marjan and a bunch of them other dudes. PJ was on his team. PJ was at Rotary. Okay. So Jaden hoops that summer though, like with Northwest Panthers. And he ends up being like a top 100 dude playing on their platform and using them in the Adidas circuit, which was good, and he used it for what it was worth. At the end of the summer, I took him to San Diego for 2 weeks to work out with Jalen. You got an opportunity to work out with Jalen, Jamal Franklin, and other dudes down there. And just, it goes back to the Clint Parks now. Now we got nothing but time here on our hands. So we're going to go in the morning. We're going to come back in the middle of the day, and we're going to go back at night.
What'd y'all call it again? Y'all called it summer school?
Summer school. This is before summer school. This is before summer school.
Okay.
So we're at San Diego State. We're in there 3 times a day working out. And it got to a point where one night we were going out with Jamal Franklin. We were going out somewhere, and Jalen was coming with us. And I asked Jaden if he wanted to come. Like, we're going to go get food. We're going to go chill. He's like, nah, I'm going to the gym. I'm about to work out. I said, okay, the light's on now. It done clicked. Here it goes now. We ain't got to drag you to do this no more. Now you want to do this. I'm like, oh, it's on now. Like, I ain't tell him that, but I knew in my head, like, oh, you don't want to go kick it, but you want to go to the gym? It's on now. So after that, 2 weeks in San Diego, he comes back. He killed his junior year. Like, he was killing. So then it got to, like, Mountain West tournament, and me and Clint, we split the plane ticket half and half. 50. He paid half of it. I paid the other half to get him out to Vegas so he could work out for a week. Obviously, there was school going on. He missed school, but when you're trying to chase his dream, like, that's the last thing that matters. And, we're at Lifetime Fitness, and he's working out with Jamal again. Jalen's playing in the Mountain West tournament, which San Diego State ended up winning.
It's getting real now.
And, we sat him down, and we're like, Daryl's calling me, and he's asking, what's he doing? What's he going to do? Is he going back to Panthers? Is he coming to Rotary? He won't pick up my phone. So, me and Clint, we sit him down at Lifetime Fitness, and we tell him, you're playing in the EYBL. You're going to be a top 10 player in the country. You're going to play a Mcdaniels All-American game. You're going to be a Jordan Brand game. You're that good.
That's crazy, you guys.
He looked at us.
I remember that, too.
Didn't believe it. A year later, top 5 in the country, McDonald's All-American game, Jordan Brand game, Slam All-American, just all type of different awards and accolades and things that, he never thought would happen. He never thought that would come to fruition. If you ask him, he'll tell you, like, I always thought I was going to be watching the game on YouTube. Like, I never thought I would play in a McDonald's All-American game. So for us, it was never like, oh, you're going to be top ranked. You're a top ranked kid. Now, once you become top ranked, though, now the expectations are a little bit different. Everybody expects you to perform now every time when they go watch you play.
And that he did.
So, I mean, if you came, like me and Otis, we went to Boo Williams and we watched him play versus James Wiseman. And they weren't called Team Penny. I forget what they were called. Bluff City.
Yeah, Bluff City.
Because Penny had to change the name because Penny went back to coaching college. So we watched him play versus James Wiseman in Bluff City. He gave them 30 and 5.
Not even that, though. He did it meanly, though. With confidence. So it's just like he just had that dog in him then. 1 drill pull up, 2 drill pull up, catch and shoot threes. He dunked on DJ Stewart, flexed on him. Like you could just see it, like everything coming to fruition. Now it's like, man, this dude's hooping. Like, you got an opportunity here to put yourself in a position for you and your family to change everybody's life.
Do you feel like that's where it clicked for him right there, that summer?
I mean, well, like he said, he got to the EYBL and he was like, this is different. Like, like it's different. And that's why I try to get everybody to understand. And, I had gotten into it with Raul on Twitter. Obviously, I didn't respond to him. But, I said, Jaden McDaniels is not a top 10 kid in the country if he goes and he plays on the Adidas circuit. Like, and he's not, though. Like, Adidas is really good at what they do. But the platform that they provide from top to bottom doesn't compare to the EYBL. And you have to go to an EYBL event to experience it. If you haven't been to an EYBL event to experience it, then you don't understand what's going on.
Me as a coach, I remember you was telling me as a coach, when I got to experience it, I was like, okay, I see what you mean, bro. It's really a different level.
No, definitely. I mean, if you go to even the Adidas circuits now, it's still almost like kind of like that old school feel. Yeah, like that when we were younger. Then, like I said, Nike took the formula and then, created something totally new. And that is the perfect platform you want your kids to be on if they're good enough. No, and just like we was talking to P, Daryl told him this shit ain't light after he told D that they was getting blown out there.
Right, yeah.
And so Paulo found that out too. And speaking back on Jaden, Jaden took that. It just seemed like he took the challenge of not also coming to play for the EYBL, not knowing what it was. But I think once he saw what it was, just like you said, I think he just knew that he can be a really good basketball player. He played with confidence, and that kind of went into going into the UW season, his freshman year. And, yeah, there were some ups and downs. But just like what me and Fred was talking about last week on the podcast, I feel like the downs were mistaken for him really wanting to actually win basketball. Yeah. It wasn't just about him feeling that he could put the ball in the hoop. He felt like he could do whatever was possible to help UW win games.
That attitude versus competitive edge, like sometimes I think people get it mixed up. And he's one of those kids that he wants to win so bad. Like you said, he's willing to do whatever. Sometimes people may see it as, he's got a bad attitude or, this, that, and the third.
How you feel about the political college scene right now? I know you're big on, if you don't need to, don't go to college. Like, what is your real opinion, like, on the college world right now?
I mean, it all depends on where you go. Like, the fit and opportunity is everything. Like, you could go to the wrong school and your college, your NBA aspirations and your career could be damaged. Like, it could be hurt. Like, these coaches have a lot of control over your future. They have a lot, whether you prosper or whether you don't play. Like, it's up to them. It's in their hands. And for some of them, it's about winning basketball games more so than it is developing players and getting guys to the NBA, because these coaches are making a lot of money. And it depends on these 18, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old kids. So they're trying to win games. They're not trying to get you to the NBA. Right. Like, they're trying to keep their job. They're trying to make sure their APR score is over their certain number so they can reach their bonus. Sure. There's a lot of things that go into it, like, and it's tough. Like, I mean, I feel like if you're good, go get paid. If this is what you're gonna do, go get paid. Like, with the G League thing, you can always go back to school, and they'll pay for your degree.
It's a $150,000 scholarship, right, to go back to college. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, they're paying for it. It doesn't matter. They're paying for it
whenever you want.
I get that people think that you should go to school so you can get your degree, but if these guys are going to be pros, they got to be able to learn and prepare as professionals before you get there. Obviously, college can help. It can help you mature and things in that nature, and it can help your brand by playing on ESPN. It can help your name with the exposure of all these big networks rather than you go overseas and, people kind of forget about you just because the games aren't broadcast stateside, the time difference, and all those other things. But it's like, it's no different. Like, playing against grown men, there's nothing like playing against grown men. Like, you got to hoop overseas, where sometimes colleges, more so, it's controlled, whereas you're a professional now. It's about the players and the players playing. So, I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. It's all about figuring out what's right for your kid. College might be right for some kids. Professional might be right for some other kids.
And that's why I love Kentucky, because if you're trying to go professional, that's the best school to me. That's getting kids professionally ready.
You watched them yesterday, bro?
I seen a little bit. My bro Glenn was updating me.
Yeah, they look solid.
I mean, it's Kentucky, though. Like, I've sat down and I've had talks with John Calipari and Kenny Payne.
I've been watching you talk to those guys at one of the EYBL sessions.
And Calipari understands that, I got to get these guys on to the NBA. So this next group coming in, I can get them ready. And the hardest job he has every year is that he has to prepare 6 or 7 new freshmen on how hard you have to play, how you have to play together. And, Kentucky's not perfect. Let's just be honest, but they are sending a lot of dudes to the NBA. And, it's not for everyone. And he'll tell you that this isn't for everyone. And a lot of coaches say it's not for everyone. So it's all about finding the right fit. There's not one way or one school that will get you to the NBA, but there are platforms that can help you get there and build your buzz to get to where you need to go. Like, you can go to a blue blood and not play, and that looks better on your resume sometimes to these overseas teams than it does if you went somewhere else and you averaged a lot. Like, just because they say, you played at Kansas, like, or you played at Duke, you played at Kentucky, like, you must be really good.
That's crazy. That's a good thing when people knock it.
Man, like, exactly. It's like, you always preach, like, go where you can play. Like, it's not just all about the blue bloods. Like I said, if you are able to play at that level, like I said, you got to make sure it all fits at the end of the day. But like I said, I think personally, oh man, pause.
It's good. It's good.
It's good.
It's good.
Get cash, boy.
It's good. But I mean, it's like you guys talked about, though. It's about fit. It's about opportunity. Sometimes you got to go somewhere where you got to go to Washington State, like CJ Elleby, and you're going to play 35, 40 minutes, and you're going to get 14, 15 shots a game. He averaged 12 shots a game. You know, he bet on himself. Honestly, going through that recruiting process, I was like, man, go to Pepperdine or go to San Francisco. Like, go be an all-conference player. Ernie Kent's going to get fired. Like, he's about to get fired. You know, Bill was arguing, no, he's not. Pat Chun just read up his deal. I said, no, bro, he's going to get fired. What happened after year one? He got fired. So, I mean, sometimes it's just tricky with those situations because you could come in with a new coach who might be trying to get rid of everybody here. But luckily, you have somebody like Kyle Smith who treated the situation like, this is my only year I'm going to have with you.
Yeah.
Like, I know you're leaving. We know you're gone. We're treating this like this is your senior year. This is your last year with us. So they treated it like that the whole year. I mean, obviously, when it came down to the pre-draft process and him entering and him declaring, they wanted him to come back to school. Naturally, you know, Kyle Smith's having meetings with him. Jim Shaw's having meetings with him. They're always around. You know, they're trying to get him to come back to school, showing the benefits if he came back, showing him the analytics and all this, you know. Eventually for CJ, it just came down to, you know, he didn't believe that there would be a college season. Like, he didn't think that they would play college basketball. He knew if nothing else, they would play NBA. NBA's going to play. So he was just like, I'm going to where they're going to play because of all the uncertainty.
So if there was a college season, you think he would have came back?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think his mind was set up on chasing his dream, you know. That's just me personally. I never persuaded him which way to go, whether to leave or to stay. I was like, whatever you're going to do, I'm with whatever. Like,
Yeah, and that was good for CJ. French, I got a question for you. I want you to tell me your honest opinion on how you feel about this. We watched Jaden McDaniels this year. He struggled. There were some things he did. In my eyes, there were some things that UW did. But what would you say was the biggest thing that you felt Jaden took from that season at UW? Now you can get into it however you want, but what is the biggest thing you think Jaden took from the ups and the downs, sitting the bench second half of the season, all those type of things?
I think that's what he took from it right there was the adversity, the adversity that he went through from, you know, starting, playing a lot, being hurt, not playing at all really versus Colorado. Like, there was a lot of ups and downs, and through it all, you got to learn and you got to grow through all these pains. And that's what I tried to get a lot of people to understand is that, like, at the same time, he's 19 years old. He's a freshman in college. A lot of dudes don't really produce early in their freshman year. You get better your freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. That's why you don't see a lot of young teams winning NCAA championship. You see a lot of junior and senior-led teams winning championships because those kids develop. So for him, I just think that with the adversity this year that he went through with everything, it forced him to grow up and it forced him to mature as a person.
You now listening to Hoop Narrative Podcast. You know, we got our brother Cartiea in here. Fred, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor. I know they'll have all the lists of everywhere. This will definitely go on YouTube as well. Come chop it up with us for a little bit on Twitter, Instagram, hoop_narrative. French, I want to get back to you for a little bit.
Talk to him, bro.
So I know, like I said, you've been in this training world for a minute. I feel like some people on the outside world don't know that you've touched other different facets of the game. You played the game. You also were a basketball coach and still are to this day. You also dabbled on both sides of coaching boys basketball and now girls basketball. Tell everybody how important it is to learning all facets of the game and then being able to teach kids in today's game.
Because you're a real junkie. You're a real student.
Yeah,
bro.
You are, bro. The laptop and the phone stays with you. Checking on highlights, watching film, all that.
Synergy, anything.
I just love basketball at the end of the day, man. And I get that question a lot. Do you like girls? Do you like boys? I just like hoop, period. I just like being in the gym. I just like training. I think that it's really important that you interconnect both coaching and you interconnect training. I think that they both go hand in hand because at the end of the day, I'm not just a trainer. When I get out there and I'm on the court, even though we're going through a training, I feel like I'm coaching at the same time. So I'm coaching and I'm teaching all the time. I am a teacher and a developer.
Is that why sometimes people see you at your players' games in the corner and then you might be yelling and screaming because you always feel like you're teaching?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm coaching all the time. Like, even as a coach, like, when I'm coaching, I can't control what your parents and what your mom and dad is saying. I need you to be able to focus here and listen here and be able to intake whatever else they're telling you at the same time. So, yeah, like, I've gotten a negative rep, and I got a bad rep for sure because I'm at AAU games and I'm on the sidelines and I'm yelling, or I'm at your high school game and I'm in the crowd and I'm yelling, and your coach might yell back at me, and that's fine. That's cool. Your coach might want me to be quiet. That's cool. I paid my $6 like everybody else, so I'm going to be able to yell just like everybody else. I didn't get in on the list. If I came in on your list, I probably would act appropriate, but I paid my $6 like everybody else, so I feel inclined to speak. As I started to grow up, though, and I started to mature more, I stopped doing that as much, and I started going to games and watching a little bit. And sometimes I tap back into that person knows certain games and places, but a lot of the times now I just go and I just watch and I'm just quiet and I just chill. Like, I mean, I don't see a point anymore. I'm gonna talk to you afterwards. I'll talk to you at halftime, and we'll chop it up and we'll figure it out. But sometimes if I feel like you need that motivation and you need somebody to jump down your ass, I'm going to jump down your ass if your coach ain't doing it. Because, you know, your coach don't understand the relationship me and you got. They don't see the work and the time that we put into all this. But, I mean, it's coaching. It's basketball, coaching, training. It's the same thing. Like, I like to do both. I like to coach. I like to train. But there's nothing like being on the sidelines and, you know, going toe-to-toe with somebody. And I got to figure out how I'm going to beat them mentally. And they're trying to figure out how to beat us. And we're scheming. And, you know, I just love that part of it. So I just look forward to it. Like, you know, I coached varsity at Chief Sealth for a year.
Yeah.
That was a good experience. You know, it was short-lived. You know, I was fired early, you know.
Bro, I want you to talk about this beastie FBC that you and Nars.
I'm about to
talk about.
I'm about to get to. I'll get to that. You know, and I'm coaching girls at Rotary, and you know now I've been presented with opportunity with Nars Martinez we started our own program. He's our program director, and it's called FBC Northwest Alliance. We are a branch of FBC United, which is a program out of Atlanta. Who last year in this 2020 class they had 4 girls that were McDaniels All-Americans. Okay. They're a real power player in the girls' grassroots industry. They have branches all throughout the Southeast. They got a branch here, up here in the Northwest that we branched out. They might be branching down to Arizona, possibly. They branched out to California now. So they're in Florida. They're in North Carolina. They're in Minnesota. It's FBC. It's the mob. Like, so when you see that on social media, like, it's really a mob because you have all these different people from all these different places. And FBC Mo is, you know, he's empowering all of us. It's not like we have to do exactly what FBC United is doing, but he wants every organization and every franchise to be successful. And they have a model that is different, and it will be different here in the Northwest, and we will bring a different flavor. Like he talks about all the time is that when he started doing this, he was taking 6th grade girls, and they was playing up 15U, 16U, 17U, losing by 50, 60 points. 7th grade, they losing by 30. 8th grade, we losing by 20. 9th grade, we losing by 10. 10th grade, we winning some. 11th grade, you at the top of the food chain now. So now it's time to cut their heads off the same way you used to get beat up on. So, I mean, the biggest thing for their motto, and he says it all the time, is that we don't see age. So, like, in our program, we don't see age. So if you're in the 6th grade and you're good enough to play 17U, you'll play 17U. So we just feel like that's the fastest way to help kids with their development is to play up and to be challenged. Your mind grows at a fast.
See more kids do that. I don't know why. I don't know.
So for us, we don't see age. So we're willing to play kids that are 6th grade, 15, 16. 7th grade, 17. 8th grade, 17. You might play 17. 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade. Now 11th grade again, you're the top dog. So now it's time to take it out on them. So for us, we're just trying to shift the culture here in Washington and try to bring something different. Norris has always been under like Steve Cleves at Northwest Blazers, worked at Friends of Hoop with Jeremy Agers. So he's learned a lot from both of those. He learned from Agers on the boys' side as far as like how the business model works at Friends of Hoop. With Northwest Blazers and Steve Cleves, he learned the landscape of girls' grassroots because Steve Cleves is a legend. He's been coaching girls' grassroots for over 30 years. They've sent so many kids to college, a couple WNBA players. He's really a pioneer here in the Northwest. I've helped at Rotary under Daryl Hennings, under Buck Buchanan, who's a legend, Everybody knows Buck.
Good Buck.
He runs the
Shout out
Northwest.
to Buck,
He runs the Northwest Greyhounds program here in the Northwest. He's been coaching for so long. I can't even remember how long Buck's been coaching, but he's the OG. Like, that's the OG. Greg Lewis, Chico, King, like all those guys I was under at Rotary. So, we've always been under people and we've always learned from other people. Now we've been brought an idea where let's combine. Let's take all this knowledge that we've learned, you've learned from all these people, I've learned from all these people. Let's put it together and let's do our own thing now. Let's be our own bosses. Let's bring something to the table that's not out here right now in the Northwest. So for us, that's all we're trying to do. We're trying to help girls get to college. That's the whole goal. We don't care about the level. We don't care nothing about anything else but helping girls get to college. We don't care what people are going to say. We don't care about nothing else. It's just all about these kids, and it's all about helping these girls get to college. And then from what they do from there, like Daryl always says, everything else is a bonus. We helped you get the free education. Everything else is a bonus. We'll be just as proud as a girl who goes to the WNBA, if we are fortunate to have one, as we do as a girl who graduates and just gets a low entry level job. Like, we're happy for all of them,
Facts.
And where is that at right now? Where you guys in the process of building this new AAU team?
We'll be stationed, so we're called the Northwest Alliance. So we'll be Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Utah. We're trying to get kids from everywhere. If you could play, like that one scene in King of New York where, if Nickelback sold in the park, I want in. Like, if there's a kid in this area in Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, wherever, and she's good, I want in.
And they have aggressive recruiters. I
want in. I will pull up to your high school game. I will pull up to your AAU game. I'll pull up to your middle school game. I'll pull up to your city to train you, to meet you, whatever has to be done for us to get a meeting or get in the room and talk to you. And, to be able to talk about what we can provide for you and how we can help you move forward, I'll do that. We're willing to go to any level and any length, like, to do whatever we have to do to get it done.
And you heard that here, so if you know a girl out there who can hoop, you already know who to hit up. Like I said, Mr. Hotbread is touching multiple lanes. So it pretty much, it seems like here, French, that you're not putting all your eggs into one basket. It seems like you're going to continue to train, but you are going to continue to advance also into the coaching world as well, too, right? For
sure. I mean, I don't want to be I had to come to the realization that I don't want to deal with the politics of the NBA. Half of that is I don't want to have to get off Twitter. I want to be able to be myself and be comfortable. And I respect you got to understand who you are. Obviously, I have to tone it down and I have to show a level of professionalism on social media. Obviously, I've been able to speak my mind and be a little bit reckless as the trainer. Now I have to step back as a program head coach. I have to set the example for everybody else that's looking at me and everybody else that's watching me. They're going to be following my lead. So I got to show everybody I'm going to be professional. I'm going to say the right things, and I'm going to do the right things. I'm going to post the right things because we live in an information era where everyone's watching you, and they're waiting for you to mess up. They're waiting to see you slip up because everybody doesn't want to see us be successful. Right. They doesn't want to see our program be successful. They don't think we can do what we think we can do. Yeah. They don't think it's going to work. There's people who have said that are in other AAU programs where they said, that isn't going to work. They can't do high school girls. They need to do fifth grade girls. They need to do sixth grade girls. And then they need to build the program up. They think we're trying to monopolize the state of Washington. We're not.
You guys are trying to skip steps with that?
Yes. But we're not trying to monopolize the state of Washington at all. We're trying to go monopolize the whole Northwest. Exactly. We're trying to control our region and control our area, not just our state. We're going to try to be tapped in everywhere. And that's the thing. We're just going to use our resources. We're going to use our network. We'll have programs in Bellingham. We'll have programs in Yakima, Seattle, Oregon, Idaho. So you got all these youth programs, and you intertwine them, and you just get people that are connected into these cities that you know, and they'll refer you a kid, and people will see how hard you work. And next thing you know, you're starting to get DMs from kids because they're interested because they see what you do for other kids. So for us right now in our first year is just finding the right group, and then we're just going to build with our kids, and we're going to continue to help them get better. So that's just the biggest thing for me is just finding the right people that are down with us, who want to be with us. Obviously, we're new, so other people are bashing us. There's a little level of uncertainty because it's new, but you have to trust us. Like, and if you trust us and you reap the benefits, you'll be successful. When we reach out to some people and they didn't want to jump at the opportunity, they're going to look back and be like, we should have took that. Look what they've done for her.
That's funny you said that because I remember when you first started getting in the training world,
we hear those same
we heard those same narratives about maybe some parents not wanting their kids to work with you. Or
he didn't play a high enough
Cartiea,
level. He doesn't know what he's doing.
And it's funny, we heard all that, bro. Every time it's like, you should go train with Cartiea. Like, nah, he's actually doing this thing. And they would, like, do the little chuckle and be like, Cartiea? Like, who's like, Cartiea? Like, who used to, play at an Olympic college and all that? And it's funny. There's a lot of guys that, either had the opportunity and maybe missed out or just plain up passed up on it.
And now the price went up.
It's true, though, because it was like that with Jalen when Jalen was at Federal Way.
Yep.
I would pick him up from school. The guys at Federal Way would be laughing at him like, why are you going to train with him? Like, and they're laughing at him. Like I used to always tell Bugs, who's laughing now?
Right. No, for real. That's why I don't get mad when you say your stuff on social media, even though you're talking about toning it down, because I drove to Federal Way and like Clint Parks talked about on a couple episodes back. I've seen you at 5 a.m. with Farion and
Farron was one of the kids, to be honest with you. Farron used to laugh at Jalen for going and train with me, and then Farron ended up coming to work out with me, and he was
5 in the morning, I used to watch that.
He was like, okay, bro, like, you probably the best one around here. And he's like, I done worked out with everybody.
Yeah.
Like,
he told me that when I took him home. Now, took him to school from after that. Like, he was like, bro, French really got it. I'm like, yeah, you stick with him. Who knows what could happen? Nah,
and we really worked through his senior year, and he was a kid. Like, he didn't come from a wealthy upbringing. Like, his dad was maybe giving me $5, $10 gas here. Some days they couldn't afford it, and I didn't care about that. I just wanted to help you. I seen how hard he wanted to work, though. You're willing to come at 5 in the morning? Come on. Come on, it's good. Let's work.
Like Clint says, that people don't see them.
They don't see the relationship.
You pick kids up from school to work out.
If they don't know you personally, like how we know, we know how much you can give a hell about the financial side of it or anything. You truly genuine care for these kids. Like I said, they look up to you it gets to a point where they look up to you as a big brother. And, that's just... Like I said, you really don't see a relationship like with their trainers and kids, like how you are with your kids, bro. And like I said, like that's what I truly appreciate about the journey that you're on is like you really truly do care about the kids that you work with. It don't matter if they're Division I prospects, NBA players, or they're just trying to go the junior college route. Like if they're trying to get in the gym with you, as long as they work hard, you've developed relationships with a lot of guys. They're now all over the country now, regardless if it's, like I said, whatever level it's at.
French, one question I wanted to ask you is, did Hotbread get formed because people started respecting you with training, or was that something that it started early, the Hotbread tag?
That was something that started early.
What does Hotbread mean?
Like I tell everybody, it means whatever you want it to mean. You can take it and you can spend it however you want to spend it. I stole it from AJ Diggs, actually, because Clint Parks was working out Tony Snell, and I would always see AJ, they would work out at the same facility for pre-draft, and I would always see AJ comment on Clint's post and say, I see you down there serving him that hot bread. I see you down there serving him that hot bread. So I just took it and was like, I started working out when I was working out with Keith Smith and Sporty and Rail, when Sporty was going to Purdue and Rail was getting ready for South Kent. Late night. I would say, I'm serving them that hot bread. I'm serving the hot bread. I'm serving the hot bread. And I just kept saying it, like, I'm serving this hot bread. And it's taking off, like, and those were some of the pioneers to the whole hot bread movement, like, everything that I've gotten genuine, every player that's come to me has all been genuine. It's never been me sliding in the kids' DM or begging them to work out or anything. Like, Keith Smith commented on a picture of me and Sporty at Seattle U working out. I posted up Sporty. He said, big bro, can I get in the workouts? Yes, sir. It's good. Like, you want to work? I want to help you. Comes in, works out after 2 days, does one of the moves he worked in, does it in the game. It's okay, I need to keep training with you because you see the application. But, the part of it that everybody didn't see about Keith was how hard that Keith worked outside of it. Like, he would come to Rotary at we would have to wait till spring league was over. You know, Rotary's running late, so it's 9:30, 10. He's coming to Rotary at 10 at night and staying to like 12:31. And he's still going to school in the morning while maintaining a 4.0 GPA. So everybody didn't understand and see how hard Keith really worked. Keith was really a hard worker. Like, he worked so hard. Like, it's unfortunate that he had knee injuries that kind of set him back and kind of derailed his career as far as his projection. Obviously, he's graduated from the University of Oregon. Will graduate from the University of Pepperdine. I don't think he graduated from Oregon, but he'll graduate from Pepperdine. I think he graduated already from Pepperdine or whatever. But, you know, he got his degree and whatever, he'll venture off to basketball. But he worked really hard, and he was really one of the pioneers that helped the whole Hotbread movement. You know, he went from averaging 7 points a game as a sophomore to 20, or as a freshman, to 23 points as a sophomore. You know, and everybody's starting to see the work because I was posting it all the time on social media. So it's like they look at you all the time and they say, okay, well, you post a lot on social media. You post a lot on social media. Well, me posting on social media is me branding my brand. Yeah. Apple posts all day. You see the iPhone 12. You see the Apple Watch. You see the MacBook. They post their brand. That's another way to draw in clients.
Every business has ads and brands that pop up. So, yeah.
Yeah, but people get irritated, though.
You got to do it more, so I don't get why people,
But
because people get irritated.
Right, exactly.
Because you get saturated. They feel like I'm saturating it because I'm posting every day. Well, you're going to see us working every day. So then when you do see the product, you know, like, okay, this is what I am working
distribution.
With. Yeah, so I got to promote myself more. Otherwise, I could sit in the background and people could forget about me. Yeah. So people think that I make this about me. Yeah. It's not about me. It's always about the kids. It's always been about the kids. The kids are the one who are coming in the gym. They're putting in the work. I'm aiding and I'm helping. I'm not a professional rebounder. I don't rebound. I don't just sit there and rebound the whole time. I'm going to instruct. I'm going to teach. I'm going to correct. I don't care how good you are. You could be top 5 player in the country. You could be not ranked. You could be in 6th grade, not no good. I'm going to treat you guys all the same. Everybody's going to get the same level of respect. Everybody's going to get the same passion. I just always told myself, I'm going to give everybody a great workout. I'm going to give everybody a hard workout. So can't nobody come back and say, oh, he didn't work me out hard. Or my workout was easy. You know, it's a reputation because it carries with me because the kids go and tell other kids, oh, his workouts are hard. So kids already walk in with a preconceived notion like, oh, this is about to be hard, where I want you to be unassuming, you know, as far as like what the workouts are going to be like.
Preconceived notion. You have one hell of a dictionary in your brain, bro. I've always said that about you.
He does, though.
I think that's one thing. Like, they look at if anybody looks at Cartiea from just a social media world, they won't understand that he is a very bright individual.
Yeah,
and I won't let you see that either.
Yeah,
cool.
That's why I love social media because people are gonna they make up their own narratives. You know what I mean?
Social media allows you to be whoever you want to be.
Yeah, that's what people don't.
You got a keyboard. You got a keyboard, so you could be a critic. Everybody could be a critic. Right. So everybody can critique me. Everybody can say what they want. Don't nobody call my phone and don't nobody text me. So there's no need for the subliminal post on Facebook. There's no need for the subliminal post on Twitter. If you need my phone number, you can call me.
People attack me.
Yeah, just for what?
Just for posting you, bro. Just for showing you love. So that's how I know how bad it is, bro.
It's all love. I hope your training brand's popping. That's all I can say.
People really got to go back and listen to that social media.
They look past that, bro. That social media and hoop was a good episode.
Man, because like you keep talking about the branding, bro. Like you're popping in the hoop world when it comes to the basketball world. Yeah. Like you just showed us yesterday how Josh Christopher was just telling somebody that used to train and just said Hotbread.
Yeah, no, for real.
you are a brand.
Yeah, Quinessa sent me the screenshot. She had told Josh, like, I seen you out there hooping. And he was like, hell yeah. And then the next message was like, Hotbread. I'm like, I sent it in the chat to you guys and to other people. And I was like, look at the brand. And I ain't never really met Josh personally. Yeah. Like, I know who he is. He probably knows of me, but I ain't never really met him personally.
And you don't, I mean, we've known you since you were a kid, bro. Like, you never cared to be a cool kid, but I'm sorry. Your top 5 probably the most popular names in Seattle ever since we were a kid.
I told you when we was doing this interview, I'm like, bro, everybody hates French, but everybody's hitting it. They want to listen to it. Ask French this.
I tell anybody that I know who may not know like who I know, and I'll just be like, Cartiea, and some of them will say, oh, Hotbread, or somebody be like, oh, like that Cartiea, like, I know him, like, man, I can't step in literally a room, no matter what, anywhere I'm at, like, somebody's gonna know who Cartiea is, and honestly, I mean, that's also helped your brand too as well. So, like I said,
big time. French, I want you to talk about your type of training. You're big on fundamentals. You're big on the basics. I want you to talk about the fundamentals and the basics over the kind of gimmicky trainers.
I used to be a gimmicky trainer. I ain't gonna sit here and lie to you.
Who else is a gimmick trainer? Sorry,
That's for the people. That's for the public to decide.
Talk about that trainer.
I mean, I used to be the trainer where I would see James Harden do a move, and
now
I'm going to the gym and we're working on that same move. Like, just because, like, I figure, okay, well, shit, James Harden is doing it. Like, we need to be working on it. Mm-hmm. But every kid's not James Harden. That's what I had to realize. Everybody's not this. Everybody's not that. Everybody's player type is going to be different. So I can't build everybody the same. I can teach you the same concepts and the same principles and stuff, but how players are going to be built and how their games are going to be formulated is going to be different because everybody's body type is different. Everybody's game is different. So I can't make 10 Jaden McDaniels. I can't make 10 Paulos. I can't make 10 Jalen Noels. Like, you just got to make each player whoever they are and to the best of their ability. I mean, the basis of it is that, like I say all the time, is you have to have a solid foundation to your game. Your foundation is your base game that you can rely on, things that are solid.
And what are those? Talk just a couple of those.
If you can do the basics, the dribble, pass, shoot, okay. You can do those things. You have good, solid fundamentals. You can jump stop. You can pivot. You can make the right pass, the right read. You'll be all right. You got some type of IQ. Right. But you can't try to build your game at the roof. Yeah. It's not going to work like that. You can't come down tween, cross, step back. Like, no, it's not going to work like that. Some coaches ain't even going to allow you to get that far. Yeah. And your game, you can't build your house at the top. Nobody starts building a house with the roof. Yeah. They always build a house at the floor with the foundation. Yeah. So your foundation always has to be strong and your base has to be solid. So the biggest things are dribble, pass, and shoot. Mm-hmm. Those are the three things. And if you look at basketball at a premium right now, shooting is number one. And then I watch games with kids, and I'll tell them, how many step backs did you see? How many pullbacks did you see? So it's like, I heard on a podcast one day, it was like, we need to spend 90% of our time working on the things that happen 90% of the time, rather than spending 90% of the time on things that happen 10% of the time.
That's real.
So it's like, that's how I look. That was a change in my process. It's like, okay, well, let's just work on our fundies. Let's work on our rip throughs, get to the rim and finish. Let's work on our drive, kick, drive and replace, kick. Let's just work on simple basketball concepts, and from there, things will take over. Obviously, you got to work on your ball handling every day. You got to work on your form shooting every day. Got to work on your finishing every day. Got to be able to make a wide open shot, but got to be able to get to the rim and finish. Got to be able to pass and make the right play. You do those three things, good things will happen.
Who do you? I don't know if you'll have an answer to this. Who is your most favorite player to train?
My most favorite player to train?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really have an answer to that because I just like training in general. Like, my favorite players to train are ones that are going to challenge me and force me to grow as a trainer. Mm-hmm. Like, I have to grow as a trainer, so I have to grow as a student. And I always tell myself, once I stop becoming a student and I stop learning, then I need to give up whatever I'm doing, because I always got to continue to retain new information. It's like I got to adapt or I got to die, one of the two. Mm-hmm. I got to change with the times. Everything's not going to stay the same. Like, certain things are going to change, so you have to be able and be willing to adapt. And I'm not afraid to adapt and change my methods and change how I train, maybe, and do some things differently. And maybe some things worked back then that don't work now, So it's just being able to learn and grow all the time.
Do you push the kids that you go to certain schools?
As in, like, colleges?
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Okay.
I give my opinion as far as where you should go and what I think is best for you. Okay. But at the end of the day, it's up for you to make the decision. It's for you and your family to make the decision. I'm going to tell you where I think you should go. Okay. And then from there, that's on you as far as, and I know he's probably getting ready to go. Yes, I wanted Jaden McDaniels to go to Kentucky. I'll beat you to the punch. And I made that known. Like, yes, I wanted him to go to Kentucky.
A lot of people hated you for that, French.
That's fine, but what everybody didn't understand, they don't know the kid. Obviously, yes, UW is a great school.
You've been around him.
He made a great choice in going there and being a hometown kid and being a hometown here. I just felt like, and I had the same conversation with Will Conroy. Will Conroy texted me during the recruitment about me wanting to push him to Kentucky. He sent me a long message. I didn't read the message. I just replied to him, I'll be at your job in a couple hours. We can talk face-to-face. This is not something I want to text about. So I pulled up to UW. I was supposed to be working at Washington Middle School. I left at lunch. I didn't go back for the rest of the day. Me and Will Conroy had a 4-hour talk in Harshman. I explained to him why I think Jaden should go to Kentucky. He explained to me why he felt like Jaden should go to UW. He had valid reasons, and I had valid reasons.
Yep.
But that was my opinion. Did Jaden end up choosing UW, and was I happy for him? Yes. I wasn't upset. I wasn't mad over anything. I just felt like Kentucky would be best for him. Yeah. I felt like he needed to get away from home. He's a kid who, when he leaves home, he wants to go back home. He doesn't like being places for too long. So I just felt like you're getting ready to go to the NBA in less than a year. Let's get away from home and let's be a little bit uncomfortable because I seen how Jalen was a homebody as well, and Jalen got to San Diego State, and how he had grown over his 3 years at school. Yep. I seen how much he had matured when he had got away. I just felt like for his maturation process, he would grow at a faster rate and grow more because you don't have a choice. You can't go back home. And I know that feeling because when I went to school in Canada, that was my first time ever going away from home. And I was homesick. I wanted to come home every day.
You were in Bremerton, huh?
No, I was in Canada. I was in Canada. And I wanted to go home, and I couldn't go home. I couldn't just, like, when I went to Olympic, I could just go walk to the ferry, hour ferry ride. I'm back in the hood. I'm back in the city. I'm back in the Southie. I'm in Canada. I can't get across the border. I can't get to Vancouver. Like, I'm stuck here. Yeah. I'm in a different country. I'm in a different culture. This shit is weird, man. I hated it. I stayed in my room. I sat in my room for probably the first 2 months at school. I wouldn't mingle with people. I would just go to my room, play video games.
People don't know Canada's actually a lit city.
No, it is. Vancouver's popping. See, that was my problem. I didn't want to get out my first year. I was just like, I don't know none of you guys. I don't trust none of you guys. Whatever. Black athlete. My second year though, it was.
Stats got a little better. They
and my stats was they knew I was my first year because I was an import from the state, so they obviously bring you in. You know, they think you're good. And me, I was obnoxious. I talked a lot of shit. I talked shit to the coaches. I talked shit to the fans. So you had no choice but to know me. And I felt like at the end of the day, though, that kind of backfired on me when it came like down to being voted for awards. I felt like I wasn't liked by coaches because of who I was on the court. They didn't like me. So with that, I wouldn't get voted. Like I felt like I should have been a Canadian All-American. Like I was first team All-League. I should have been a Canadian All-American. It was me, Brandon Jones, Brody Gregg for those 2 award spots, and I feel like I didn't get it. My team was 16-5, and I had better numbers than Brandon Jones. Brandon Jones' team was 16-5. Brody Gregg's team was 20-1. They had 1 loss. They lost to us. Me and Brandon Jones' numbers were identical.
You was at Quest when you went down and played Powerhouse D2.
We played Western Washington. I had 34.
You hoop, bro.
We did watch 9 rebounds, 8 assists.
And then, like I said, everybody knows West Washington is a powerhouse Division II team, nationally, not just locally. So we remember.
I left the gym like, damn, I could have played D2. Like, you know.
I remember.
I felt like I could have played D1 too. I didn't take care of my academics. I didn't take care of my schoolwork. So for me, that's the lesson that was learned through it all is that it doesn't matter what level you play. Yeah. There's hoopers at every level. There's guys that can go at it. There's some dudes in Canada where I was like, oh, he's tough. He got game. Like Brandon Jones, he played at VIU. He was from Portland. He was up there. He was killing. He was back-to-back, like, CCAA. Like, he was a Canadian All-American back-to-back years. They won a national championship my first year. Like, he was going off. Like, he was tough guard. Like, he was tough, and it was a battle. We didn't like each other. We didn't mess with each other. He was tough. They had a little guard at Langara, Brody Gregg, who was a lefty. He averaged a triple-double. Like, he averaged 10 assists, 10 rebounds, 10 points. Like, he was cold. He was tough. And then we would play, like, UBC and stuff like that, the Canada West schools. We played UNBC. Like, you be some dudes on the team, like, we got game. Like, he could hoop. Like, there's just players from all over. So, we would play, because, the Canadian schools, they go, the American schools, they go up in the summer. They do the foreign tours or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, like, my first year, we played Northwestern State. We played Cal State Northridge. And we played Eastern Washington. Like, we would play the D1s. Obviously, my team wasn't that good. We're getting blown out. We're getting smacked. But the coaches would be like, what are you doing here? Right. Like, you have no business being here. I said, man, this is what happens when you don't take care of your academics. You end up here in a place like this. So for me, that message relates now to the kids about taking care of your academics, making sure you're qualified for the NCAA clearinghouse, making sure you're qualified.
Don't even be knowing about that, the clearinghouse.
Because you gotta educate them. Like there's a girl we got on our team that's a 2022, and I asked her that same question: are you registered for the clearinghouse? She's like, what's that? I said, how are you gonna go to college and you haven't registered for the clearinghouse? She played on multiple AAU teams and you don't know what that is. Right. So I mean, it's not really that crazy because as parents have to be more informed, kids have to be more informed, and us as adults and program directors and head coaches, we have to do a better job of making sure our kids are prepared to move on. Like we can't just put this in the parents' hands at the same time and expect them to get this done. It has to be a group effort and it has to be a team effort of everybody getting this done together.
So do you like that? Polo and guard from Eastside Catholic? Nolan. You like that they bypassed UW to go venture out?
And I was just about to ask you that, bro. You help me understand because you're really tapped in with the kids, so maybe you can give us a better understanding. What's the pulse on the kids right now in the University of Washington?
Because
you seen P, not to cut you off, you seen P talk about it on episode 5 about the swagger's a little different. Like, why are kids looking at UW differently?
I don't necessarily think that the swagger is different. Yeah. I feel like the kids, coming from them again, they feel like UW doesn't recruit them. They feel like UW doesn't recruit them hard.
Say that with Duke.
He feels like they don't check in and they don't call and they don't recruit them hard. And to their point, I get why these schools or why they feel like these schools don't recruit them hard. You got to think, if I invite you two to a game on a Friday night or a Thursday night and a Saturday night, and you come to both games and I see you afterwards and I bring you into the locker room to meet with us and meet with the players, I feel like I've done my job as far as recruiting you because I just seen you. So now I'm not going to call you because I seen you. But you got Duke who's going to call you every day. You got Kentucky who's calling you. All these other schools, they're calling every day. They're checking in. They're seeing how you're doing. While UW's not calling you because he feels like, oh, well, I just seen you on Tuesday. I'm not going to call you again. I just seen you. I'm not going to.
High school game.
Yeah, or I'm seeing you all the time, so I'm not going to recruit you. Whereas these kids, they still feel like they want to be wanted, though. Yeah. You still got to recruit them outside of that. You still have to get on the phone. You still got to call them, and you still got to text them, too.
P said it was a 1.5 process for Duke, and after a 1.5, he committed. Like they were on.
Yeah, you got to be steadily. I mean, whereas UW, though, he's coming to a lot of the games. He's being seen by the coaches. So I doubt that they're calling you. You know, as it's a fine line between being overbearing and not doing enough, and you got to kind of flirt with that line, and it's tough because you have to have certain reads on certain kids. Some kids, you might like being called all the time. You might like that. You might want that attention. Jaden Mcdaniels, don't call his phone. He's not going to answer.
You're telling us that throughout the process.
He's not going to answer. So I'm you just got to know the people you're dealing with, though. So I feel like for that 21 group, for some of those kids, that's what it was. They just felt like UW didn't recruit them hard enough because they never called them and they never texted them. That's from what they say. So I can see how that can be mistaken because I see you all the time.
That makes sense.
So it's like a relationship and a partnership. It's like you still got to court, regardless if we're here together every day and we live together. You still got to take me out on dates. Like you still got to do things to keep that spark flowing.
That's
so
exactly
if you're
what a woman would say.
Yeah, so if you're because somebody else is filling that void and somebody else is doing what you're not doing. So these other schools are calling every day. They're sending mail probably all the time. They're probably their coaches are probably texting and they're calling once a week. They're calling twice a week. Well, shit, ain't called me all week. Like they ain't called me in a month. Like but Arizona done called me 6 times in the last 3 weeks. You know, that's my take on it. Yeah. And I see why that could happen because I understand how that is. Like, coach, if I see you every day and I'm working you out every day, why am I gonna text you? Why am I gonna call you? I'm seeing you every day.
That's true. That was one thing I didn't think of. That makes sense.
So it's tough. Recruiting is hard though. It's not an exact science. They did a good job the year before with keeping Raekwon home, keeping Marcus home, who's the Portland kid.
And people say, well, it's Duke, it's Kentucky. Most kids aren't going to pass that up. I just feel like...
Oh, shit, Jaden McDaniels passed it up. Isaiah Stewart passed up all these schools to come to UW. So I get why they missed. You guys also got to look back and say, well, the 2019 class, they grabbed 2 kids that were McDonald's All-Americans. So you can't say Mike Hopkins isn't doing a good job recruiting and the coach is not fine. You got 2 top 10 kids in the country to go to UW.
Yeah, that's true.
So, okay, yeah, you're going to miss out on some kids. That's just how the game goes. That's just part of recruiting. You're not going to get everyone you go after.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's frustrating as fans, but fans don't understand what all goes into the recruiting process and everything that ties in. They just think, oh, this kid's from Washington, so he's not going to turn his back on his hometown. No, some kids don't have a problem turning their back on their hometown and going somewhere else. They feel like if I go somewhere else, I'm putting on for my city still.
Yep.
I'm going to put on for Seattle at Kentucky. I'm going to put on for Seattle at Duke.
Mm-hmm. That's real.
French, you still get on the court with these kids? Run ones?
I mean, I do sometimes. I do. It's funny. I was talking to Jaden today about that. Boy, I said, boy, I'll bust your ass. He's like, you never beat me. You've never beat me. He's right. I've never beat him. I've never beat him.
Have you beat Jaden before?
All the time. Jalen's never beat me. Jalen's never beat me. He's not. I tell him that. I told him that all the time. I commented on one of his pictures one day. I said, look, tell everybody how you never beat me one-on-one.
That to say. What about CJ?
Me and CJ have never played. CJ be talking to me like I'll bust your ass. Like you better stop playing with me. You don't even hoop.
3 pros in 2 years, French.
Hey man, it's a blessing. Just real fortunate, real grateful for them, and them trusting the process and them, appreciate them allowing me to be along for the ride. It ain't always been peaches and cream. It ain't always been perfect. But we worked through it, we grinded through it. What a lot of people don't understand is that last year at UW, Jaden was playing bad. He was playing, at a point in time in college.
You heard all the narratives. I know you did.
He had honestly, I got off social media all throughout the season, so I didn't see anything. People were looking for me. They was wondering where I was at. Okay, I was in the gym every day with him. While you guys are sitting here slandering and talking about where I'm at, I'm in the gym. I'm just not posting.
Yeah.
I mean, what people don't understand is that after the Colorado game where Coach Hop sat him, and he sat him the whole second half, and he played maybe 7 or 8 minutes, and he had a horrible game. We had a long emotional talk after the game about how, he's going to have to do things right the rest of the way. You're costing yourself millions of dollars every game. Every game you're losing money and you're dropping with your stock. So you gotta be better on the court. You gotta look better. You gotta look the part. You gotta play the game. Like, you have to play the game. The people that are watching and people that don't know you, they want to like you. You got to be personable. You got to be more likable. Yeah. So after that Colorado game, I was just like, this ain't going the way it's supposed to. All right, I'm moving in, essentially. I'm sleeping on your couch every day. We're going to get up. That's why if you look at my Twitter, I always say, Mr. 8, if you know, you know. And I always tag Ben Lee in it, who was their GA, who would help us every morning and help us every night. So I would sleep on his couch. We would get up at 8 a.m. We would work out at 8 a.m. We would work out at 8 p.m. every day from that Colorado game. If it was a game day, we would work out one time before the game. The next day, we'd be right back in the morning. I'm on his couch every day. You don't believe me? Ask Raekwon, ask Marcus, ask Jerron Brooks, ask Isaiah Stewart. They'll tell you I slept on their couch every day for the last 2 months of the season.
And there's no step that you can bypass if you want to be a pro that this is what you have to do.
Sometimes you got to just say, I'm just going to, I just said to myself, I said, all right, I'm just going to, Clint was on me. I was like, all right, I'm just going to take it into my own hands. We're just going to work. And if you look at his numbers, maybe the last, 9 games, it might have been 9 or 10 games, he started playing better. He was being more consistent, and it just showed he was in the gym every day. So you can ask him. You can ask Cam Dollar would be in there Monday, Wednesday, Fridays with Jerron Brooks at 9 a.m. They'd be on the other side. So Cam Dollar would see us in there. And we would just be working every day. Ben would help every day. Ben would be there in the morning. Ben would be there at night. Whether it was day before a game, day after a game, we were there at 8 a.m. Night before, we'd be there at 8 p.m. So we just worked. That's the part that other people don't see. I'm spending so much time with him every day. And it's not just on the basketball side of it. It's just on the mental side and the wellness and making sure he's good as a person and making sure he's locked in and he's focused and he's doing what's asked of him of the coaches and how he can perform to the best of his ability. A lot of people can't make the sacrifice. They're not fortunate enough to where they can do something like that. So they criticize and they don't see that side of it. They just see the post on social media and feel like, oh, he's taking credit. No, I'm not taking credit. I'm showing love for the small part that I played. Yeah, everyone's played a part in this journey. Everyone's helped them get to where they're trying to go to. I'm not taking credit for the whole slice of the pie. I'm just taking credit for my little 1/8.
Yeah. And that's real, man. Before we get you up out of here, friends, that's why I like When you talk your stuff, bro, or you post on social media, even the picture you posted with Jaden and you guys sleep on Clint's floor. Some people that may have viewed you differently, they even hit me like, that's one of the realest things French has ever posted, but that's who he is. But he's not going to post that 16 times. He's going to wait till
it's applicable.
Yeah, and
but that's how it's gonna be.
Like, whoa, look how real that is.
I'm
like,
in
French is laid on a pillow. Like, that's a real grind that people don't see.
Like Dirk said, I'm in the trenches. Relax.
Relax.
So I'm just saying, I'm really there, and it's never gonna be Hollywood for me. Yeah. I'm gonna be the same dude. While these dudes are in the NBA, I don't need if I'm pulling up in your city, I just need a pillow and a cover, bro. I'll sleep on your floor. Like, it ain't never gonna be Hollywood for me. Like, It ain't never gonna be too big. It's never gonna be too small.
That's real.
So I'm just always going to stay true to myself at the end of the day, and that's all I can do. And Camille French wouldn't expect anything. Camille. She wouldn't expect anything different than me to do it how I've been raised.
You got something for French off before we get him out of here?
What would 2013 or what would 2020 Cartiea French-Toney tell 2013 Cartiea Tony?
Nothing. Do it the same way you've done it. Be yourself.
That's exactly how we know you. That's facts. You were right about that. Before we get out of here, I want you to also tell everybody once again about how maybe they can contact you if they want to maybe train or if they are interested about the AAU program. How can they hit you up, bro?
If you're interested about the AAU girls program, you can follow us on Twitter at FBC Northwest Alliance. We have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram page. Same thing, FBC Northwest Alliance. If you want to follow me personally, you can follow me on Instagram at Mr. Hotbread. If you want to follow me on Twitter at Mr. Yeah I Know. If you want to contact me about training, you can message me on either social network or you can send me an email, hotbreadtraining@gmail.com. Again, hotbreadtraining@gmail.com. I appreciate OT and Fred Joe for having me on the Hoop Narrative podcast. Enjoyed my time here talking with my brothers.
Man, definitely, bro. Like I said, we're glad to have you in here, bro.
It's good. Turn on some Wale. Let's chill. They don't know about that, OT. They don't know.
They don't know about that. Man, it's your boy, OT.
And I'm Fred Joe, man.
Hoop Narrative, man. We out.
Took a breather and came back in no time. Put the ball in my possession and it's showtime. I'm taking the last shot, coach, don't mind. I'm a different predicament, so it troubles you. Game clock ticking and I'm coming for the W. One man ain't enough, they gon' have to double two. Get ball shot made, all the fans loving you. Time expired, everybody rushing you. Now you done showed them what you about. Try to tell you we was gon' make it without a doubt. Do what they can, I'm already stamped, and I be shitting like Kevin Durant. I'm in the game, ate up. When I steps on the floor, I don't waste time. 2 seconds, one shot, I'ma make mine. Hit a 3-pointer on baseline. They want my spot, I'm trying to save mine. So you should move over. 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 So you should move